All right, everyone, we're going to talk about this ice storm that's coming our way. So let's we'll just have a chat for a couple minutes until a few more people join in, and then we'll dive into the forecast. I haven't been on camera in a minute, that's for sure. So bear with me. Might be a little out of practice. Haven't done a lot of these since all the severe weather that we've had last year, but since there's so much going on, it would just be paragraph after paragraph after paragraph of me typing, and no one wants to read that. It's a lot easier just to, watch and listen and stuff like that. So I'm going to also make sure I can see your comments. So I'm going to get everything rolling on my end over here. It does take a little bit of time just to set everything up. But if you haven't heard, we are in store for a heck of a weekend coming our way, especially the further north you are. I would say, especially anyone along and north of M72, M32 in northern lower Michigan. The whole UP is going to have some kind of high impact from the storm. Tip of the mitt, the Straits of Mackinac, Mackinac Island, Pelston, down to Gaylord, etc. So we do have a lot to talk about here. I'm going to walk you through everything. We're going to look at, just a lot of things that are going on. And we do have closed captioning going, it looks like, so that's great there. I am streaming on Facebook. I'm streaming on YouTube as well. So whichever you prefer. I do have a YouTube channel. It is the @ Brad Sugden. Should pop right up, but I'll start scooting people over there in just a minute. A few days from now, something like that. Okay. So boring background right now. I'm working on a lot of stuff for Brad Sugden Weather. My 1 year anniversary is coming up for Brad Sugden Weather being launched, my LLC, my company. So we're going to do a lot of fun stuff with that. So for now, you get the gray walls, gray couch, everything like that. We're just going to have a chat tonight about what's going on. So first things first, we have an ice storm warning, and this includes a couple counties in the UP that include L'Anse and Marquette. And then, of course, we have the pink up here for the Keweenaw Peninsula, which is a winter storm warning. That is for snow. So obviously we can tell the difference, right? Winter storm warning for snow, ice storm warning for ice. What's this darker purple? That is a winter weather advisory. So we're still going to have impacts, but it's a level down from the winter storm warning and the ice storm warning. I do think, though, we're still going to have some pretty high impacts even in these areas. Then the blue over here, that's a winter storm watch. What a winter storm watch does is it gets upgraded. It could be upgraded to an ice storm warning. It could be upgraded to a winter storm warning. It could be upgraded to a winter weather advisory as well. And that does include a couple counties over in the tip of the mitt. Includes Mackinac Island, Beaver Island. We got Emmett County up there and a couple more. I'm sorry, I don't know every county's name. I should, but I don't. And so as you can tell, this is what we got going on here. Now, the ice storm warning, I do want to show you. I'll pull this up really quick. And something that I want to point out is that this is actually only from 8 a.m. Friday. This actually goes through 8 p.m. Sunday, so that's covering most of the weekend. The winter storm watch is also going to include Friday through Sunday evening. And then we'll have a few more impacts a little further south that might last into Monday morning for the lower peninsula, but we'll see. So either way, we're looking at Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and maybe a little bit into very early Monday morning. So easily a 72-hour event coming our way. And again, the impacts could be high from this, especially where we have the ice storm warning. If you caught some of the words here, we are looking at anywhere between 1/10 and 1/2 of an inch Friday into Friday night. And then we'll have some snow falling on top of that. We could have, of course, more ice coming Saturday night into Saturday as well. So when you start talking about 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch, we're hoping that we melt it in between with some warmer air. Otherwise, we could have ice totals that maybe exceed an inch in some areas, which is honestly absolutely catastrophic. That's not something that we really need going on out there. So we're going to take a look at a couple different things here. I just showed you the warnings. We'll go into flip it over and do something different here for you. I hope. There we go. Okay, so this is going to be showing you, a little more of the models, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. That is what we call it, actually. But let's fill the screen just a little more here. And I will tell you what's going on. We can always take a look at what's labeled too. We got what it is at the top here, the model, and then, of course, the hour that it's valid. What 07Z means is Zulu time, so that's kind of London Greenwich time over there. So you subtract 4 to get into Eastern time. It's confusing, but we'll talk about it. I'll verbally communicate the math to you. But let's take a look at the high resolution rapid refresh, HRRR, or the HER model, as a lot of us call it. But let's take a look at kind of hour by hour here as things start to progress over the next several days. And don't worry, I'll be stopping and looking at comments as we go on through as best as I can. And, you know, maybe we should share this over really quick, just, you know, before we take a look at something else here. So let's do that really quick. We'll put you guys back on this and I'll share it over to a group just to make sure everyone can see it. And again, bear with me. I am super out of practice of being on camera. It's been a long time. We'll share it over to a group there. And, you know, get a few more people watching, hopefully. Nice. All right. And by the way, I do have a 9 to 5 job every day, so you know I'm trying to keep up on this as best as I can. But you know, there are going to be a couple of times here and there that maybe that doesn't quite work out. Let's see, we'll share it here. Post, and again, feel free to share the video in any community groups that you're in as well. If you've wondered why I've been doing that so much this winter, Facebook actually sends me messages like, please share your content into community groups. And what can you argue? Facebook's like the boss, right? So you got to listen to what they say. All right. And for those of you that don't know, I know I have a lot of new followers on here. I was a TV meteorologist at ABC 12 in Flint, Fox 47 in Lansing, and a little bit behind the scenes, Fox 17 in Grand Rapids, in addition to Omaha, West Virginia, South Dakota. I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting in there, but I have a lot of experience. So from Michigan, all that stuff. And I know some of you are like, we already know that, but I have 20,000 new followers since the winter, so I just want to get that out there really quick. Okay, we'll post it there, and here we go. Taking everyone back into the models, we'll start talking about this hour by hour. Still stuck on my Facebook, though. All right. Again, this is the high resolution rapid refresh model, also called the HER. And times again in the top right, you see how it says 10Z Friday. Subtract 4, that's 6. That means it's 6 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to go 7, 8 o'clock right here because 12 minus 4 is 8. And we're minusing 4 because it's London time. We're 4 hours behind London time. There you go. Okay, so 8 o'clock in the morning, you can see we have a line of showers and maybe a couple rumbles of thunder down to the south. There's not a whole lot going on for a lot of thunder and lightning. I think we'll have a little bit, but not a ton. You can see there's some snow in the Upper Peninsula. Going forward 2 more hours, 14 minus 4 is 10, so we're looking at 10 a.m. Got that batch of rain from Grand Rapids through Battle Creek, Kalamazoo, maybe a little bit over towards Lansing as well. And the pink, that is starting to indicate some of the freezing rain that we're expecting in the Upper Peninsula. Now, 16Z, so minus 4, we're at 2 p.m. because that would take us to, actually, I'm sorry, 16 minus 4, 12. We're at noon. I can do math. Okay, so at noon, we got a couple pretty good downpours going through the Lansing area, Grand Rapids as well, over towards Muskegon and Holland. And this goes down a little further south, Jackson, along 94 too. And you can see how everything just keeps kind of moving over along the I-94, I-96 corridor down to the south. We're still slightly above freezing in the UP, so even as we get toward 18Z here, which again, minus 4 is 14, that's 2 p.m. And 2 p.m., we're still looking okay. Now we're at 4 p.m. You can see that we're having some more showers, maybe a couple thunderstorms develop. That's indicated right over Mount Pleasant, Bay City, Midland, back over by even Cadillac, actually a little bit. Clare, Harrison, seeing some of that activity as well. Here's where things really start to get interesting, though. So now we're at 22Z, minus 4. That puts us down into 18. That's 6 p.m. So by 6 p.m., heavy showers, couple thunderstorms from the Tri-Cities, the Saginaw Bay, into the Thumb. This might include areas like Caro as well, over towards St. Clair County. But look at the Upper Peninsula. We're starting to get the rain in that purplish pink color. That's indicating the freezing rain. So we're starting to see some of that in the Keweenaw, the Huron Mountains, just to the west of Marquette. And it's just going to keep getting worse from there because now we're getting towards sunset. 0Z -4 is 8 p.m. So at 8 p.m., look at these thunderstorms we have going through the Upper Peninsula. There's also the possibility that some of these thunderstorms might be strong or severe, believe it or not. So we could have a thunderstorm with rain coming down. The rain freezes on contact, and we have the possibility for severe hail on top of that. Crazy, absolutely crazy setup. It is going to be a crazy day in the UP. Now, the purplish color, that is the freezing rain. You're saying, hey, but there's this other color, right? The peach, coral, whatever you want to call that color, like, the color of a Jolly Rancher, if you will, that is sleet. Sleet, honestly, might be the better of the options here if we had to pick between freezing rain and sleet. Sleet is those little balls. It's an actual frozen raindrop. Not to be confused with hail or grapple. Think of a raindrop and how big a raindrop is. That's sleet. Anything bigger than that is called grapple or hail. So we could have some severe hail coming our way, though. And that's something that I do want to show you as well here in just a moment. So going through another couple of hours, now we're at 10 p.m. You can see the heavy precip that we're expecting off to the north. And again, showers, thunderstorms possible, hail coming out of these. So a lot of freezing rain. Now, what I will say is this can drag some warmer air down if the rain is falling heavy enough, especially if we get hail, might actually carry some of the warmer air that's higher in the atmosphere down to the surface. And that might give us a couple more hours before we start to see a lot of freezing rain. But we are going to have a wind coming out of the northeast, which brings the cold air right off that Canadian shield, they call it. North of Sault Ste. Marie, it's very rocky up there. Temperatures get very cold. We're bringing that cold air right down, slamming into all of this moisture. So the freezing rain aspect for the eastern UP is very much there. Notice it is mixed in with that coral color, so maybe we get some sleet instead, which again is better than a lot of freezing rain. The other aspect with freezing rain that I read from the National Weather Service, which was a really good thing to point out by them, was that if it falls too fast, it runs off of things. It's going to run off of tree branches. And when it's really light and slow, that's when it tends to stick a little better and get bigger ice accretions over power lines, tree branches, stuff like that. So if it rains harder, it means it actually might make it to the ground first, and it's still going to be terrible, but then we're not talking as many like power lines and tree branches coming down. So this is such a fickle thing here. A lot has to go right to get those really bad conditions. So it's possible, but we're going to just kind of try and do everything we can to hope that it's going to be a little bit better. So notice how we continue going through time here. We have like all these little waves of moisture just streaming on through. And now we're getting towards the early morning hours of Saturday, like 1 o'clock in the morning right here. Still in the form of rain for most of the tip of the Mitt. Still looking at some freezing rain for the UP. And then going a little further into time, you can see how we really start to transition over. Now, this is kind of a lull in the action. The 12Z Saturday morning is 8 o'clock in the morning. We have the lighter freezing rain, so that's the kind that will stick better to power lines, tree branches, stuff like that. And still some pretty heavy rain coming down across northern lower. And again, north of M72, north of M32 is what we're looking at here with this. So honestly, a lot of us north of Vanderbilt, north of Petoskey, that's where we're going to see the activity. South of there, even Gaylord, probably not going to notice a whole lot until about Saturday night. So we still have a little while to go here before things, really start to get bad. Now, again, a little bit of a lull we saw there, right? There's not a whole lot going on. This is light showers, some freezing rain for Gaylord over towards Alpena now, over by, what is that, Presque Isle? I don't know, something like that. Little airport symbol over there. Now, keep going, and there we go. It's starting to pick up and get heavier. So 0Z Sunday, -4 again. We're looking at 8 p.m. Saturday evening. So this is 8 p.m. Saturday evening. Round 2 starts to come on through. So honestly, most of the day Saturday is not looking that bad. And if we can warm those temperatures up in the UP, we'll melt off the first round of freezing rain that we get before the second round comes in, which would really, really help us out a little bit as well. So let's first of all talk about that severe weather possibility. This is looking at the day Friday. And I know we're going to get really used to the times ending in Z when I show you raw models like this. So remember, 12Z, 8 o'clock in the morning, 12Z Saturday, 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's 8 in the morning Friday to 8 in the morning Saturday, 24-hour period. The green is a marginal risk. Marginal is a 1 out of 5 on the severe weather scale, so it's down there, but it's just the possibility. So let's take a look at what we can expect here. We are looking at hail. This is the hail outlook specifically. So those storms coming through have the possibility to drop hail that's larger than 1 inch in diameter. And that's because of all the cold air in the atmosphere. We have a lot going on in the mid levels, which is what we need for those storms to really, have some oomph to them. And yes, now I will show you the others. Tornado outlook, absolutely nothing, which is great because that would just be even more insane. Wind outlook, nothing. And then a little further, this is the 3-day outlook. You can see we get a little possibility to our southwest. One more thing I do want to show you is the possibility for Sunday, which I know looked like it was a little closer to us initially. Sunday's possibility is more of a Indiana, Ohio problem down toward Illinois. So we'll keep an eye on things for you. Some of those might sneak into southern Michigan, at least a marginal risk. If that marginal risk happens, I think it'll be along and south of I-96 on Sunday. So I'll keep an eye on that for you because it's just a strong system, and some of those storms can have some wind gusts coming with them as they go on through. Okay, but back and talking about the totals that I was going to be mentioning for you. We'll go back to Michigan here quick. All right. We should probably take a look at temperatures too, because this is also just as insane. So we're going to scroll through Friday and getting toward, we'll just go till 0Z, which is 8 p.m. So, we got 60s down to the south and 20s over by Sault Ste. Marie. We are going to be a state with a lot going on. So that's why we have freezing rain to the north, and down south, you're going to be like, what is this guy talking about? It's like 65 degrees out. It's humid. There's going to be humidity, and it's going to just be totally different. That's what the front does. So you can tell where the front is, right? It's obviously where the cold and warm air are separated. Now we go a little further. See how that cold air is coming in from that red blotch off to the northeast? That red blotch is that Canadian shield I was talking about, where the really cold air comes from. Northeast wind carries it in. And watch how that northeast wind takes these numbers down. See how that is retreating down to the south? The 30s are pushing the 60s down. That's that cold air coming in, and that's when we really start to have some problems later on into Saturday. So my hope is we kind of dodge a bullet as we go throughout tomorrow into Saturday, but we'll see. It's Saturday night into Sunday where we have a lot more cold air in place that we'll have to watch out for as well. Okay, I apologize, I'm talking a lot, but there's just a lot going on. These are the snow totals for Friday to Saturday. Not a lot, right? Copper Harbor, 7 inches. There you go. Copper Harbor is getting up there into the 7-inch range. But what we should look at is the possibility for the freezing rain. And we do have to take models with a grain of salt because it's picking up on convection, and convection is very iffy. And what I mean by convection are the thunderstorms. If the thunderstorms aren't there and we have much lighter rain, these totals are going to be much, much lower, right? So it just depends on what forms. And again, the possibility is there. It's all about possibility, probability, but it's there. So once we go through Saturday, this is what this particular model is picking up, the high resolution rapid refresh. We do have that possibility, like the National Weather Service was saying, of exceeding maybe a 1/2 inch by the time we get from Friday to Saturday. And that includes Marquette, the Huron Mountains, maybe a little bit over into just south of the Keweenaw, maybe by, I think Twin Lakes would be like the absolute southern border there. And then notice, though, by St. Ignace and down into parts of, Chippewa, Mackinac counties, that's where we could have some of the higher totals come on through. Alger County as well off to the north. So I'm going to watch out for that. Mackinac Island as well might have more than an inch. Notice Gaylord coming in just a little bit starting Saturday evening. Really, round 2 starts right about there. So that's what we're looking at. But I can zoom it in just a little bit more. And this is just a little bit of a different calculation. You see how it says FRAM estimate here? So I just want to show you this. It is a little more conservative, and I think conservative is better with ice storms because it's really hard to get those big numbers. There's just a lot going on. When you freeze things, first of all, that releases heat. There's a lot of latent heat release and stuff that can warm the atmosphere up a little bit as well. So tenths of degrees make a big difference here. But notice, again, anywhere in this purple has the possibility to see more than half of an inch. And that is just for the Friday to Saturday round. So if I scroll, you can see how my mouse number is changing. So we get into 0.7. This is where I'm really concerned is the eastern couple of counties, Drummond Island as well. And, maybe Mackinac Island coming in at about 0.54. Petoskey Gaylord a little bit less. Okay, switch back over here. And just one more last thing, sleet. So sleet, again, those little ice balls, but if it's mixed in with rain, it can stick and kind of act like ice coatings anyway. So that is sleet, and that's a mess. There's just going to be a lot of moisture. So let's talk about total moisture because there will be obviously some storms to the south as well. So this is just assuming everything is liquid rain coming down. And this is where meteorologists, we do our conversions and stuff. But look at this potential moisture. I mean, just for Friday into Saturday, for 48 hours, we're talking 1 to 2 inches possible. Easily 3/4 to 1/2 of an inch is likely. And then I think 2 inches would be the absolute high end, but it's possible. So we have a lot of moisture that we're going to work with. And the issue here is in the UP, a lot of this is going to fall and freeze. So that's why we're looking at that there. Let me switch back over to the warnings here. I'm going to just take a look at some comments and see if I have any, first of all, and then see what's going on. See if anyone has any questions. Chats. I don't think so. Probably because I'm doing this kind of late at night, and I do apologize for that. But the video will repost when I'm done, and you can watch it in the morning. And I'll probably record a more concise one too. All right. Oh, there we go. There's some comments. Yeah, we are skipping winter, Abby, or going back into winter. Hey, from Columbus, Mississippi. Got all the nice weather down there. Jared, I'm very happy for you. I wish we had nicer weather here. It's been a heck of a season. Okay, let's continue onward because, like I said, that was just round 1. Now we got round 2. So I'm going to switch modes. So the HRRR, her, only goes out 48 hours. So my limit is literally Saturday evening. I cannot go any further with that model. Now we're actually getting in newer rounds of the NAM, which stands for North American Model. And this one, let's just scroll on through round 1. So this is going to match the HER quite closely. You see the rounds of showers and storms, the rounds of freezing rain, and there's heavy, 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 heavy. This is Saturday morning now. And see, here's Saturday itself. There is still stuff going on. We have light rain down to the south. The UP is getting a much needed break. This is 17 minus 4, 13. This is 1 in the afternoon on Saturday. And here is round 2 coming in. Notice this one is much more fixated on northern lower at first until we get into early Sunday, and then that mixed batch comes in for the upper peninsula. But the good news here is we have that more coral peach color. I call it the color of a watermelon, Jolly Rancher, or bubblegum. It's sleet. The purple color, that's freezing rain, and there's going to be a lot of it. Maybe even as far south as M55 for Cadillac and Houghton Lake. It just depends on how far south that colder air gets. And now the NAM is known for being a little crazier with totals. We'll show it to you quick, but again, it's just got to take everything with a grain of salt. You got less snow off to the north than what the HER was showing, and the freezing rain totals. They're getting up there, and these are a little intimidating, I will say. And again, we take it with a grain of salt because these streaks that are higher might not happen. So a good way to filter those out is to go with the national blend of models, and I know the National Weather Service really likes to use this as well. And again, it's just kind of like a filter and gets rid of a lot of the outliers. But going forward here, we're still looking at a pretty significant event, a quarter to a third of an inch, in areas up to a half of an inch or 0.7, we could be talking about some pretty good power outages as well. But going a little further with, a different version, because I know we want to see okay, we want the whole story, right? So let me switch over to some models that go just a little further. We'll go with the famous European model. This one's going to look a little different. It doesn't do the simulated radar. What it does is show you the areas that are going to see things in a 3-hour increment. So this is what we can expect in a 3-hour increment. And there's what we're looking for as we go into Saturday with that heavy banding going right through the straits and the southern half of the Upper Peninsula. A little bit of a break Saturday itself. Then the second round comes in. So we're at 6Z Sunday, you -4. It's 2 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. And there it is. It's almost like a copy paste repeat from the first system, right? Maybe a little more snow for parts of the UP, but it is like a copy paste repeat. Look at this though. Once we get into Sunday at 8 p.m., I mean, we are still cranking out freezing rain, and this is where it becomes really concerning because we want to melt it off Saturday in between runs round and two. That would be awesome. If we don't, though, you're going to have accumulation on top of accumulation, and that's when some damage occurs. And then look how things start to, get a little more tilted and swing out as the system actually comes on by. This is Monday, 18Z. I mean, this is, we're well into the afternoon Monday now, 2 p.m., and we're still looking at this thing going on. Clearing out for the UP, but then the lower peninsula has a little bit of rain and snow coming by, and then we're finally done before maybe another one comes in. So I will show you the totals because I've showed you the totals. But again, just disclaimer. Be wary of the high ends on these models. It's easy to get excited over the high numbers. Everyone does it. You see 6 to 12 inches of snow. You're like, boom, I'm getting 12 inches. No, you're getting 6 to 12 inches, somewhere in there. If you get 6, it's still a verified forecast. Same with rain. 1 to 2 inches. Everyone's like, oh, I'm getting 2 inches. No, you're getting 1 to 2 inches. So, just take the high numbers with a grain of salt, please. But let's switch over. Let's take a look at the possibility of some snow here. And again, there's round 1 lining up with the HUR pretty well. It's pretty much a Keweenaw Peninsula, Whitefish Point kind of deal. And there's the second round. And that's when we start to add, a lot of snow on top of maybe a lot of ice. And the National Weather Service and Marquette even mentioned this. They said we're probably going to have to transition quickly to a winter storm warning after the ice storm warning because of the snow coming down. So there's going to be a lot going on. And then, maybe a little bit for Southwest Michigan as the system pulls on through. But there's the snow potential for the UP on top of the ice. Let's go look at the freezing rain totals quick. And again, these numbers are outrageous. Don't let it scare you. But I would say the possibility for this darker area, the possibility of one round added into the other round could be over an inch. I wouldn't, 2 inches is getting crazy. I don't even like to show it, honestly. But, but here's where things are different. This is why it's important to look at everything. The GFS, we have maybe up to an inch for some areas, 3/4 of an inch. That's obviously substantially different than the Euro, right? This is based on who's getting those thunderstorms. If they go a little further north, a little further south, that's going to change who gets the highest freezing rain totals. So there's still a lot of details to be figured out. And when you're talking, in planetary terms, this is a very small area. It's very fine, but a lot of stuff has to come together for this to work out. Here is sleet. And again, there might be a couple inches of sleet, which is those little balls. And if that is wet in any way mixed with rain, sometimes it can stick to things and be just as bad as freezing rain. But potentially not. So, there's just a lot going on there. But in terms of total precip, just from the European model, we can take a look. And you can see the possibility of over 2 inches total is definitely there. So there is a lot to watch out for sure. The GFS, the American model. Oh, we were on the GFS. Okay. Here we go. The European model. This one's going 4 inches. I'm just not. That's a lot. I would say the Euro is probably going to come down into line with the GFS. That's been the pattern most of the winter. That's where we're going to go with that. What has to happen for us to get 4 inches of moisture like that? I mean, that's a lot, you guys. That's a lot. So I just don't see that actually happening. And, one last one we can look at is the Canadian. It's kind of like, do we really need to look at this model? But sometimes we look at it to see if we can do like a tiebreaker. Definitely not the meteorologist like mine or anyone's favorite model. Here's a lot of sleet coming in from that one. And the freezing rain totals, it's trying to pump out over 2 inches, which is just super unrealistic as well. So, I guess never say never, but I will definitely keep you guys up to date on all of that. So, yeah, that's that. The NAM, we're cranking out some pretty high numbers of freezing rain here. So again, there's a lot that's going to go on. Please follow and look for updates. I'll do another video update in the morning. I do have my job tomorrow, but maybe I can record a video while I'm at work as well, and just do some video updates because it gets a lot to type out, and obviously there's a lot going on here. So thanks for your tuning in with me late at night here. Again, like and follow the page. There is an option to see my post first if you would like to do that. And again, I appreciate everyone's support. I got Generator Magic to renew as my severe weather sponsor for a whole year, so I am ecstatic. You should be ecstatic too because that lets me put all this out there for free instead of having subscribers. So thank you, Generator Magic. Yeah. If you need generator parts, which I'm sure a lot of you will, they are Michigan based. They do all the Generac stuff. They're a great company to work with. And again, they're Michigan based. Generator Magic, they're my cover photo. I have all their information posted on any of my posts that they have sponsored as well. So you can help me by helping them, and then they help me. And it's just a nice little, symbiotic relationship there if you need generator parts. And again, they ship. So even if you're in the UP, they can ship you generator parts. Granted, no one can travel if there's ice, but just great, and I'm very thankful for them. I still have Medima's RepoCast going for a couple more weeks, and of course, ITS Travel Services out of Flushing. If you want to get the hell out of here and travel, they're great. I actually worked with the owner when I was at ABC 12. He started that business. He's a great guy. So, cool thing though, and I'm sorry, I'm just gonna give him a little plug really quick. I didn't know that travel agents didn't like charge you extra money. So let them do all the work for you. Book a vacation, book a cruise, and let them do all the work. It's not going to cost you any extra than if you booked it on your own, and they can probably hook you up. So I didn't know that. I think that's super cool, and that's my genuine take on everything. So thanks to my sponsors. Thank you. Thanks to the subscribers. Again, lets me put all this out there for free and keeps the really, it's just great. So I thank you guys a lot for making my business successful for the first year, and I can't wait to show you what I got planned for the 1 year anniversary. And again, tune in tomorrow morning. I'm going to stop talking now. I hope you guys have a great day.